What is up, my dudes and that one girl? I see you shivering with anticipation. This is Bikes, Beards, and Brews. Let's kick that intro. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Before we kick this one off, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification. New videos are dropping weekly. You ring that bell, you know when they drop. Let's get the other stuff out of the way. Want to save 10% on a Cardinal communicator or save some money on some Kemimoto gear or Beyond Riders gear? Then you should definitely check my referral link down below. Want to support me and all my do-gooderness like these cool guys here? Bam! You should become part of the Brew Crew and join the coffee page down below. Want to know why I'm asking you for money? Well, next to those 10,000 Amazon affiliate links that also go to a good cause is a link to a video explaining what I do with your money. Get it, got it, cool. Let's move on. All right, guys, so today may be a pretty exciting one. It's exciting for me. I am super hyped about this. I'm going to try and do something with this bike that has not been done in at least 10 years, a decade. I'm going to see if I can get this bike started and running. So a few things before we get into that. I've got myself some fresh gas. I'm going to have to drain this gas tank. It is gross. I mentioned in the past video, smells like turpentine. Again, that's probably like 10-year-old gas. It's shot. Got myself a little drain pan here for that. That's cool. Got myself a new battery. Got a couple new spark plugs. So we're gonna swap all that stuff up. I was looking at the carb. It looks pretty damn good. And I just wanna say, before we get too far into this, I had a lot of plans for this engine. I was gonna put like a big bore kit on it. I was gonna put cams in it. I was gonna do this, that. I was looking at some of the stuff on the bike and I was like, well, it's got a 10-year-old carburetor. I'll just order another carburetor, replace it. It'll probably be easier than rebuilding it. Here's the thing, back in the day, you know, we're talking at least 15 years, Ed and I were talking about this bike, and he was like, oh yeah, I did all the stuff to make that as fast as it could be at this point in time. Like, I bought all the best parts, dumped them in there, so on and so forth. He never really fully elaborated on that, and it was something that, you know, kind of went to the back of my mind. I wasn't really thinking about it, but as I started digging into this bike, I'm seeing it. I did the walk around before, and you should definitely check out the other videos in this playlist, especially if you don't know who Ed is. Like, you know, go back to video 1 and catch up with us. But there was an S&S air cleaner on this. I took that S&S air cleaner off, and sure enough, there was an S&S carb right behind it. I wasn't sure that was an S&S carb at first. Then I talked to the guys over at Boyd Cycles, and they're like, oh yeah, that is not an OEM carburetor. You've got S&S, you're good to go. So they gave me some seals and some points and stuff in case I need to rebuild that. Overall, the more I dig into this, the more I see that like Ed really did put a lot of time, money, and effort into making this a loud, fast bike. So let's go ahead and get into this. First things first, like I said, I'm gonna drain the gas tank, try and get that out of there. I'm going to swap out the battery. I'm going to swap out the spark plugs. Then we're going to see if I can get it running. I am going to check to make sure that there's some oil in there. Ed had mentioned that like it did have an oil leak and it has sat in a storage container for 10 years. Guys over at Boyd said don't do the oil change until you get it up and running first. So I'm going to try and get it up and running before I do an oil change. That'll be a whole separate video. I also have off camera some starter fluid and stuff like that. So hopefully we're gonna get this going. So let's dive in. Let's stop talking and let's do some work. All right, so first things first, there is a pepcock in this thing. I'm not sure which way is on and which way is off. So we're gonna experiment, and the goal is to get this off altogether so I can drain the gas out. This is the lowest point of the tank. I wanna get it into this pan down below, and then we can go from there. We just want to get the horn out of here because that's definitely in the way. Might relocate the horn altogether because I kind of would rather see the engine, gotta tell you. Normally I'd have some stuff covering the paint on the gas tank, but I'm not super concerned with it only because this tank will be getting painted. But yeah, if you're doing this and you're not planning to paint your bike, always protect your painted parts above and below. tools from above hit it, and then bolts and stuff falling off hit it down below. All right, this might be really messy and a really horrible idea. We'll find out in a minute, huh? I'm gonna make it so you guys can actually see the gas that comes out of this thing. You can kind of see it already. It's pretty nasty looking. Oh, it really does just smell like paint thinner, let me tell you. Ugh. Remind me to clean my GoPro stand before I bring it inside. This stuff is splashing a bit. Almost looks like Gatorade. Let's see if I can get that. Oh, thank you, wind. Now I'm sure I could have taken off a hose or something like that. I'm not worried about it. I knew this would get the job done. So, quick and easy. Kind of good too. It gives me a chance to look at the filter in here. And honestly, that looks pretty solid. Did I mention there was a lot of gas in this tank? Oh man. Feel free to blow up the comments and tell me how I just did this incredibly wrong. Whatever. Just a disclaimer, I didn't look any of this up on YouTube. I don't have a manual. I just kind of dove in and I was like, well, let's see what happens. Learning on the fly. All right, next up, let's get some spark plugs changed. This should be a whole lot easier. Ah, yeah, there's one. Come on, there's two. So, spark plug shields, I guess, whatever. These are not in tight at all. I guess that's better than being absolutely buried in there and rusted in. Not horrible, honestly, not horrible at all. I'd take a minute just to thank Boyd Cycles. I called him up and I said, hey, I want to get this bike started. I want to see if I can get it running. Set me up, man. I need battery, I need oil, all that. And he actually thought about the spark plugs and, you know, put together a little kit for me, made sure I was all set to go. And it was very easy, quite painless. So yeah, thanks Ron for taking care of me like usual. I don't think I've ever seen these plates before. They just kind of sit there. It looks like there's some sort of like, well, spider nest, but I don't know, some like little rubber caps in there or something to sit over the bolts. I imagine these rattle quite a bit on the road. For a bike that was sitting in storage for 10 years, I mean, this thing is in pretty good shape. So, like, I have a really good platform to start working with. Overall, like the tires. The tires look almost new. The only reason why I want to change them is they're 10 years old. That being said, yes, they're 10 years old, but they still are solid. Like, I thought I was going to get, like, flat tires and stuff. Didn't have to put any air in them. They're good. All right, that boot's good. Let's take care of this battery, huh? All right, I'm pretty sure the guys over at Boyd's told me that this was already charged. Honestly, I probably should have put it on a trickle charger. Wasn't even thinking about it. So if this whole thing fails today, you won't notice because I'll just wait another day, charge it up, and come right back. But let's get this in and let's find out. All right, so here's the deal. For the time being, I have put the battery in, but then I disconnected it. And that's because one of the relays up here, you can see it right there, kind of was starting to heat up and it just kept clicking. Even though the bike is not on, it would click. So it's probably a bad relay. I'm not 100% sure, but most likely I'll need to replace that before I can get this bike started. So I guess we're stopping here for the time being. let's fast forward to the good parts. All right, it's been a week since the first part of this video. It has been rainy. It actually might start raining at any second, but I really want to try and get this bike going. So in that time, I have put in some fresh gas. Got probably about a gallon going in here. I checked the oil. There is oil in there. It's probably not the best, but we're not going to do an oil change until after the bike starts. I got a new fuse relay. This is the one that may be no good. So I went down to Boyd Cycles. They hooked me up with this one, and we're going to get this installed, and then we're going to get the battery back in, and hopefully this bike is going to come alive. So let's get to it. Just real quick too, if you go to replace one of these relays, do pay attention, because there is a positive and negative side. This one isn't marked the best, but you can see that one side is orange and one side is not. That is the same with this one, although Drag Specialties does a much better job marking them as well. You can see on here it says battery and auxiliary. You might be able to see it, I don't know. But also copper, not copper. So like, just make sure you're paying attention to the wires you disconnect here and you're putting them back on the same posts. All right, and just to say it out loud, battery post connections, they do change from model to model. So like positive here and negative here. Just make sure that you're matching out the positives and the negatives. All right, guys, I got the battery in. I got all the stuff set up. This is the first time this bike has had lights in forever. Seriously, check this out. I'm just excited just to see that tail light on. Like, this is awesome. You can just barely see the lights here, but they are going. And I think the headlight might be burned out because there's nothing. But yeah, we're gonna try and start this bike now. All right, guys, I don't know if this is gonna start. I did get some starter fluid just in case it needs a little bit of help. But again, I put some fresh gas in here. It's got some oil. It's got a battery. The battery that I had, that I picked up, the positive and the negative were on the opposite sides of where the cables were, and I didn't have enough slack to actually get that plugged in. But no worries, I have my Kemimoto battery, so I went over and I threw this in. This lined up perfectly. Again, if you're ever thinking of going to lithium-ion batteries, Kemimoto, check it out. You're going to save a lot of money there. I actually have discount codes down in my description, so check it out. But now, let's see if this starts. Let's see if after 10 years, this starts. All right, let's give it a little help with some starter fluid. Round two. Oh, so close. Uh-oh, what happened? I think it blew up. I don't know. Battery? Yeah, we still got battery. All right, so lights are gone. Battery's saying 60%. I started at 90. I don't know. Maybe I need to try and get that battery in there and working. So close, guys. So close. We're gonna get this. All right, guys. I took the Kemimoto battery out. I put the Drag Specialties one back in. It doesn't line up correctly. Like I said, the posts are opposite, negative and positive. So I just leaned down on the side, put a bungee cord there, because I really just want to get this started. I'll get a different battery. That's fine. So let's try this again. All right, let's do it. A fireball just came out of there. It's awesome. Sounds like I need gas, but I don't know. Let's see. Let's get that standing up and try it. I definitely got gas. Come on. Come on, lady. Yeah, it definitely sounds like lack of fuel because like it starts and then nothing. Hope the petcock's on correctly. Try it out. Leave that open for a bit. All right. So I keep holding the clutch because I'm not exactly sure if this is in neutral or not. You know what? I'm gonna give it a minute. See if it's fuel. Give it some time. This is exciting. This really is exciting. I mean, that's the closest it's been to start for over 10 years. So we're on the right path. There's so much smoke. There's so much smoke. Oh, it's so close. Hope it didn't flood it. I think I got it. Ah. All right. I consider this a win. I heard it start up. You heard it start up. Sounds mean. I'm excited. A lot of smoke. This is a fuel issue. So either the carbs need to get cleaned out a little bit more, which I have the stuff to do, or, you know, I got to figure out the petcock. I thought I had it on. Maybe I'm incorrect. When there's starter fluid in there, it is revving up. So I'm going to get the battery on charge because it's definitely low from all the turning over. And I'm going to figure out what's slowing it down and what's keeping it from starting up. And then I'll get back to you guys. But for the time being, I'm considering this a win. That is the most noise this bike has made in over a decade. And I am so excited about that. But what do you guys think? Throw it in the comments down below. Maybe you know how to start this thing. Throw that in the comments down below. And be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Share this video with friends. Share it with family. Don't share it with Boyd Cycles. He's just going to make fun of me for not getting it started. I love this stuff. Trust me. I'll see you all on the flip side.